Okay, I've had this feeling building up for a while now, and there was something that I wanted to talk about more as the news was getting released last week, but I was away. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. With all that news building up last week about Khamzat Chimaev being rumored to headline UFC 300, it just reminded me how much I wanted to get this off my chest because I am wondering if any other MMA fans out there are feeling the exact same way. So, firstly, let's just bring everyone up to speed. Ariel Helwani went on his show. Ariel Helwani did his show and talked about how the UFC were looking at 4 options right now for UFC 300. And one of them was this rumor that they were in talks with Khamzat Chimaev to do Khamzat Chimaev versus Leon Edwards as the main event. And people were loving it, but it just fell so flat to me. Now, I am going to be trashing Khamzat Chimaev a lot in this video, but I do just want to preface from the onset, it's from the standpoint of him as a sort of character in MMA, him as an athlete in MMA, him as someone who is going to be headlining pay-per-views and who is in talks for championship level, which means he is someone that is going to be put in front of our faces a lot. Once that UFC marketing machine gets behind him and starts pushing him forward, we're going to be seeing a lot of him. And I am sure that as a person, he is a fine bloke, a normal guy, a nice guy. I've seen the way that he reacts around children. I've seen the way that he talks about his friends and his family. He seems like a good, loyal friend, a decent human being. But that doesn't mean that I am excited or even interested to see him in the cage or in front of the media anymore. Like, go be a good person over there. I'm here to be entertained by the fight game, to see highly skilled level fights, to see entertaining fighters on the microphone. And to me, Khamzat Chimaev doesn't bring any of that. And I'm going to go through those points in this video. Okay. So back in 2020, 2021, I was right there. You know, back when we had that Allah Akbar moment when he picked up Li Jingliang and carried him off to the other side of the cage and started beating the living piss out of him in front of Dana White, and he got on the microphone and screamed, "Smash everybody." By then, he had already had, I think that was his 3rd fight in the UFC, maybe just off memory, but he had had a couple of fights in the UFC, and he looked extremely dominant, and I was on the Khamzat Chimaev hype train 100%. I was all aboard, but ever since then, it's just slowly been chipping away. My fandom for him has been slowly declining, and when the news got announced that they were looking at Khamzat Chimaev to headline UFC 300, I couldn't help but think, no, man, no, I don't want that. So why? Like, what has led to all of this? Well, firstly, there was just the weight miss, right? The weight miss when he was meant to be fighting Nate Diaz is the first thing that comes to mind. And it's not so much the missing the weight, it's just the blatant not giving a damn about missing the weight and not being apologetic for it at all. You saw how angry all the fans were at him for nearly ruining that entire pay-per-view. And he did not care at all. And it doesn't seem like he understands that it's the fans that are there to give him such a big platform. Like, if it is not obvious by now that the UFC is picking who is going to be their next champion based on how the fans react to them and whether or not the fans want to see them, I mean, you're just not paying attention to the business that you are in. So it was the unapologetic nature of missing the weight. And then there was his superhuman performance against Gilbert Burns, is another thing that sort of chipped away at my fandom of him. And I might be getting the dates mixed up of when they happened, but this is just how I'm feeling about Khamzat Chimaev. And what I mean by superhuman performance is not that he looked superhuman like he does in his usual fights, like he was a freak of nature. It's just that he looked human, like he looked very, very human, superhuman, you know what I mean? Like, he was meant to be this guy that could go out there and not even get hit, not even get touched. And now he's looking like this guy that he's very, very beatable to a lot of fighters, which sort of takes away from the aura of Khamzat Chimaev. And without that aura, why are we rushing him forward without him fighting decent contenders in his division before we start talking about title shots? I know Burns and Usman are great contenders, but they're not contenders in the division that he's in talks for to get a title shot anymore. Unless, of course, you talk about dropping back to the Leon Edwards fight, and then the Leon Edwards fight is going to be this whole issue of, well, can he even make that weight anymore? There's a lot going on with Khamzat Chimaev that we need sorted out before we can just shove him into a title picture, right? So let's make this a little bit more concise. Number one of why I am not into Khamzat Chimaev, okay? Reason number one, he is very, very inactive these days. And I hate inactive fighters. And not only is he inactive in the cage, but he is incredibly active on Twitter. He calls everyone out, and he was calling people out for UFC 300. He wanted to be on UFC 300. And then apparently he's offered UFC 300, or he's in rumors for UFC 300, and he puts on tweets saying that he's not fighting in Ramadan. Now look, Ramadan's part of your religion, all good, no problem. But then shut the fuck up calling people out during Ramadan at the start of the year. If you're not going to be ready to fight around Ramadan, before, after, during Ramadan, then shut the fuck up and stop calling people out around that time of the year. Don't call people out for UFC 300, get off at 300 and then be like, no fights, brother. No fights during Ramadan, brother. What are you doing? Why are you wasting our time? And it seems like Chimaev has been wasting our time for 2 fucking years now, and I'm over it. The second thing is his interview style, right? When we got on the hype train, it was the famous high energy, smash everybody, here for everybody, kill everybody. But since then, he has been on this deadpan level of talking, and it is so mind-numbingly boring. It goes back to once Masvidal got famous, and he just started going, violence. Masvidal, what do we expect from you this weekend? Violence. Like, that is now Khamzat Chimaev. Any answer is just, don't care, brother. Smash anybody, brother. I hear, brother. I don't care. I killed anybody, brother. Oh, great. Hey, Khamzat, what are you going to do with the win? I don't care, brother. I'm here to smash everybody, brother. Here I am. Like, this is so goddamn boring. It is so boring. So we've got this inactive fighter who calls everyone out on Twitter, who doesn't get on the cage, and then once a microphone is in front of him, doesn't say anything. Like, I know English is not your first language, Khamzat, but can we write down a few more lines than smash everybody, please? It's just too much, man. Then point and problem number 3 with Khamzat Chimaev is he will deadpan say, smash everybody, and then smash nobody anymore. He's barely winning, right? The Kamaru Usman fight was pretty much a draw, okay? Now, I know that we're going with this excuse for Volk, right? This excuse for Volk, that Volkanovski was coming off the cage on 11 days notice and went in there to fight one of the toughest fights in the world, Islam Makhachev. And Islam Makhachev is one of the toughest fighters in the world. And he got dominated because he wasn't prepared enough, okay? That seems to be the narrative that the entire MMA community is going with. Can we keep that energy for Khamzat Chimaev? Because Khamzat Chimaev is meant to be a Islam Makhachev level of fighter, one of the best fighters in the world. And he was fighting someone off 11 days notice, coming off 2 losses with bad knees, and barely scraped through a win. This is not a smash everybody fighter. This is you're barely winning when you should be dominating, right? If Islam Makhachev is dominating Volkanovski, then why are you not dominating Kamaru Usman under the same circumstances? Literally the same circumstances. So he is boring on the microphone, scraping through wins against Usman and Burns, inactive, a Twitter troll, and I'm meant to be amped up that he is going to be headlining UFC 300. Fuck off. No, I'm not amped up at all. I'm not amped up to see Khamzat Chimaev in any fight, to be honest. I just want to see him tested in 1 or 2 decent contender fights. If Whittaker wins, put him against Whittaker. Israel Adesanya does not deserve a title shot. He is 2 losses, 1 win in his last 3 or something like that. So it should be Khamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya. It should be Khamzat Chimaev versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. These are contender fights that are proper for him once he actually picks a lane. Pick a weight class, Khamzat Chimaev, and then start to build some momentum and get the fans amped up. Don't just sit out on Twitter saying that you'll smash everybody, smash nobody, and then when fights get offered to you, turn them down because they don't fit your timeline. No, man. Honestly, I'm done. I am so done. Oh, last thing. Sorry. Khamzat Chimaev, if he became a champion, do you think he would become more active or less active, right? Ask yourself that. Do we want an inactive Twitter troll champion that is not going to give us anything, not going to give us fun interviews, fun fights once every 2 years or once a year? Is that really what we want as a champion? Is that getting you hyped up? So, I mean, that's probably the last thing. Like, even Khamzat Chimaev in a title fight right now scares me because I'm scared he's going to win it and ruin an entire division. Just slow the whole thing up. We don't need that. We've already got John Jones, okay? We don't need more people slowing things down, okay? Honestly, thank God for Alexander Volkanovski. Active fighters, mate. Active. Stay active, boys. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments on Khamzat Chimaev, okay? Does he excite you? Were you excited when you heard it that he might be headlining UFC 300, right? Were you excited, yes or no? Put that down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button. And of course, I'll see you all in the next one.